Welcome back to Project Seawolf. Winter is here. It was 38 degrees this morning, Fahrenheit, and that's pretty cold, getting close to freezing. So for this month and the next few months, we're gonna be really trying to drive home the interior of the boat. Getting the V-berth done is gonna be a good first step to doing that. So I've got the heater going in here, and that's gonna stay on anytime that I'm gonna be doing epoxy, because I want that stuff to cure really well. Some areas that I really want to work on today are going to be the V-berth, the anchor locker especially. There's a few panels aft that I want to build out, and I think we're going to do the methodology that we did last time, where today I'm going to measure out and cut out the foam board, and tonight I'm going to laminate it, and then tomorrow I'm going to come back on the boat when it's warm on the boat, because I'm going to leave the heater on, and tab in those panels that I made. So in the V-berth, I've been thinking about this for over a month now, the whole design of the anchor locker. So again, we need to build out the floor of the anchor locker and incorporate in the drains. So the drain holes have already been drilled. These are the through holes that I'll be using. And so attached to this hose barb, the hoses are gonna crisscross in the middle and go up to a elbow that connects into the anchor locker, and on that hole in the anchor locker floor there's gonna be a cover, a stainless cover, so that all that chain bashing around isn't gonna damage anything, and it should still drain and it's not gonna clog up the drains. Now with the elbow it's gonna be a little bit harder to work on, so incorporated in there I'm gonna have valves. So really it's going to be through hole, valve, elbow, and then the sieve drain, and that'll all drain out these. And these will be isolated up in the V-berth. So there's going to be the floor here, and then aft of the holes there's going to be another wall with an access hatch. So if these were to fail, or drain, or the front of the boat for whatever reason is too low in the water, and the sealant fails, then even with the water coming in through holes, then it still should remain dry throughout the rest of the boat and be isolated up there. So that's going to be two walls that I have to make, incorporating the hardware that I want to put in there. Now on top of the walls and the lamination that need to happen, I also want to measure out the areas for the access hatches that I'm going to put into some of these new walls, and yeah, really push to finish the V-berth. I would love that so much. Once all the structure is there, once everything's the way I want it, then I'll paint it white, and that will be the first major section of the boat that's done. I think is going to be the V-berth. We're going to create surface here, so this is no longer going to be a hole. Neither is that. I already have covers for these holes, so these hatches are taken care of. This is going to be a hatch for reach down storage. So these are going to be reach in storage, reach down storage. That's going to be sealed up, and this is going to be reach in storage. I've ordered a hatch for this and for this hole, so both of these are going to be hatched reach in storage. This anchor locker, I've also ordered a hatch that will go in there that I can still get through, so I can still get into the anchor locker and do everything I need to do, but it will also be able to be sealed completely, because right now it's just a loose piece of wood that kind of clips in. So that loose piece of wood is going to cover up the ugly hatch, but the hatch is going to keep all the smell and water inside of the anchor locker. And for the anchor locker drain retaining wall, I'm going to have a circular access hatch so I can still get in there, access the valves and everything, clean this area, check if there's water, whatever. But I already own those, so that will go on this surface.
Using a light behind the holes, I was able to trace the hole shapes to 1/4 inch divinity cell foam. In order to get the shape of the anchor locker hole, I had to climb into the anchor locker and trace from the inside and then crawl back out. For the thicker pieces of foam, though, I measured out the areas with cardboard again.
Alright, I've gone through and measured out and cut out all the stencils. I've numbered the holes that I want to be filling. Here are the holes for the anchor locker drains. They're 3/4 of an inch thick, and I don't have that size hole saw, so I've ordered that, and then we'll be able to install these and finish out the anchor locker drains. Let's head back to the studio and get these panels laminated. We're back in the workshop now. The heater's been going all day, so it's really warm in here. So I've got all the pieces I want to laminate all spread out. All these pieces are not going to get equal treatment. Some pieces are only here to be a surface to paint, like this piece. This little piece here is just kind of like part of the wall, so it's only going to get like maybe, oh, it's only going to get one layer, and it might even just be chop strand. However, pieces like this, which is the anchor locker hatch wall, this piece is going to get 2 layers of biaxial on each side, so that's 4 layers of biaxial. And this is the anchor locker floor, which honestly 4 layers of biaxial on the receiving side of the chain, and maybe 2 layers on the back. As I was cutting out this fiberglass, I realized that the surfaces that are horizontal, so places people might sit, should probably, including the anchor locker floor, should probably be fiberglass with a lot of the mat around the piece. So when I put this circle in the V-berth, I probably want a continuous piece of fiberglass over the top of it. Plus, gravity's going to help out with that. So for some of these pieces, like the horizontal pieces that where people might step or sit, I'm going to fiberglass into the boat, the layer being attached to the boat completely. But with these circles, I used some scrap fiberglass to laminate one side so that both it's rigid and one side will be done, so I don't have to do that upside down in the boat.
For this first side of panels, I epoxied the side that I was going to let dry overnight. And for the ones that I wanted to add an extra layer to, I also added on an extra layer, knowing that I'd come back in the morning and put on the other side.
All right, it's the second day, or the morning of the second day, and time to do the other side. Sweet. It peels off the tarp real nice. I was worried. It turns out it's okay.
In the morning, I came back and did the same thing, just on the unepoxied side this time.
Woohoo! Upsy daisy. Oh, welcome back on the boat. Oh, this is my happy place. I love being on the boat. So we got the new pieces in their places. Again, I didn't fiberglass some of the sides of some of these because, for example, this one, in case somebody ever steps on this, I want it to be completely fiberglassed onto the surface. So I'm just gonna lay a new layer on there, and gravity will do the rest pretty much. So that's fine. Same with these. I expect that someday I'm gonna sit on these, or my wife or somebody is gonna sit on these, and so I want to have a fiberglass mat that goes over the top of the whole thing and connects the sides. So again, same idea with these. For the V-berth, we're gonna be able to fiberglass in this one. We're gonna wait on this one, which is an extension of, or which is the rest of that hole. And we're gonna wait on this one, which is the anchor locker floor, because I don't have all the anchor locker, or the drain hardware, which is gonna go into this. And before I install this, I wanna install the drains in it, and I wanna know exactly how everything fits together. So I'm gonna wait on that until we have the through hulls in and the drains in, which will hopefully be on the next episode, as well as installing some of the hatches, including this hatch, and the hatch that goes here, and the hatch that goes in the anchor locker. So while we're fiberglassing in the winter, I want to make sure that the heater's on, not only to protect the stuff that I have in here, including the epoxy, but also to make sure the epoxy sets correctly. And right now we're at 63 degrees, which is perfect temperature to be doing epoxy. So let's get started.
Now I show here that I'm using Scotch tape to hold up the inside of the circle panel, but I ended up needing duct tape because the Scotch tape wouldn't stick. I then prepped the surfaces for fiberglass and made sure it was going to be able to stick around the panel pretty well.
Alright, all the surfaces of the panels that I want to put in tonight are prepped. So that one in there with some tabbing. Also going to do some repairs on the fiberglass there. And we got this one, and I put some fiberglass over it, but I'm going to peel that up, put some epoxy, and then lay the fiberglass on it, and then soak the fiberglass in. And then this one is just going to take some tapping around the sides. I can't believe that's where they had an AC panel with exposed wires on the other side in the las where it's the wettest. Amazing. That's not going to happen again. And the new design, the switchboard is going to go back right there. I kind of disagree with that placement because it's so close to companionway, which is wet. But then I'm going to run the wires higher up on the boat where before they had wires that ran down in here, and that's just a bad idea to put wires down below. I mean, they had another switchboard in there, and like most of the electronics was in there, and like if you look at it, the companionway's here. You take a wave, all that water is going to go into this area. So yeah, I'm gonna not do that and make that another storage. Most of the anything that the switchboard wires need is going to be higher up, so there or in there, just not in the wet part of the companionway. So let's get to the epoxy finally.
It was at this point I was pretty stoked that we were actually going to make some progress. This whole making the panels at home deal doesn't have the instant gratification that my old methodology of tabbing in panels that I made on site. But in most ways it's definitely the best methodology. I really enjoy this a lot more because I can go home and watch the kids and then come back and fiberglass on the panels that I made there.
Alright, everything that I want to do today is done. Here's this one. That was the first one I did. It set really well. The epoxy was pretty cooked by the time I got to this one. But the fiberglass is super solid right now, so I mean, I guess that's okay. It's just going to be sanded down and painted, and I'm pretty sure it can take my weight, especially when I do the other side, tab in the other side, underside. So we got filled a bunch of holes in here and tabbed in the corners as well. We got this wall that's going to be sanded and painted pretty soon, I hope. Yeah, I know this is the ugly side, but this is how the panel fit the best. We got this one down here that's going to prevent me from falling in there, and also it connects the big bulkhead that I did before, the keystone, and to the rest of the sole. So it's a good solid piece, and it's really well attached, so that's awesome for rigidity just throughout the boat. And we got this one, and that one's I mean, pretty standard, pretty nice. It's all done. Well, thanks for watching. Another very productive episode of Project Seawolf. I want to thank my sponsors. Thank you to everybody on the Patreon, in the comments, YouTube, everything. It helps, and it all goes towards this project and getting this boat back in the water as soon as possible. I want to thank Jim in particular for getting me this epoxy. It really has been a huge weight off my shoulders, and moving forward, I'll definitely be using that epoxy on the next job. Looking to finish the V-berth soon. So I'll see you on the next episode. Thanks for watching. All right. right, we've got 2 of the hatches that came in the mail today. This one is going in front of the bed in the V-berth, and this one is going underneath the mattresses where your head is in the V-berth. So I'm actually curious if I can fit through this one because I might need to get deeper into that storage area to do some work, or when I adjust the valves on the anchor locker drains, I'll probably need to be able to fit through this. So let's see if I can do it. So first, let's do one that I probably can fit through. Oh, okay. So that one worked. Let's do this one, but because I'm probably going to be crawling through it head first. Let's see if we can do that. Hey, okay, perfect, excellent. So when I reach down in to adjust the valves, I'll probably have to do this, and then unscrew the thing over the valves, and then adjust. Perfect. Yeah. Sweet.